It's been 3 days of non-stop creativity, action, and friendships that have formed. Yet again, the ZBrush Summit brings together some of the finest in the business from around the world. It almost causes me great sadness to have to say this is the last interview of the day, a more somber tone. You can hear it in my voice.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have it any other way than to sit with my new friend, David Little Sister Giraud, who I had the pleasure of meeting in Troia, Portugal, formally.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you're sitting with me. Thank you. It's almost like
Thank you.
we've gone full circle, right?
Yeah, it's a privilege.
I feel I'm the one privileged.
And
Stop
I
it.
was telling you, like last year, that was the best part for me, and I really mean that.
Thank you.
It was the best part of the summit because techniques, super interesting to know new techniques, but knowing the artist is, and not just the artist, like the graphic or the CG artist, but like you're an artist.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for saying that.
and there's a lot of artists that are not necessarily going to do the traditional artist way. It's like it's the way you think. It's the way you project yourself, and creativity is not just CG or it comes in all shapes. So, and it's actually a good segue for ZBrush because it's so flexible that it's a graphic tool, yes, but it's so flexible that it opens a lot of doors for people, I think.
An expansive opportunity is always at the root of ZBrush. I think that over the years, and I appreciate your compliments. Thank you. I don't
You're
want to
welcome. I really mean it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That means a great deal to me. I'm honored to be back again. I should stop and say I'd like to thank everybody who made it possible for me to return. It's nice to be able to sit here with you, and especially at this point because we just came from halfway around the world together.
Yeah, that was like an amazing experience.
Remarkable experience to sit
Yeah.
with you. And I meant what we were saying earlier. I loved having breakfast with you. I don't usually sit and have breakfast with anyone. Breakfast is usually a very quiet
Yeah,
time for me. But
like we went into some really, really cool conversations.
yeah, and I wish we had that on the record too. Cause,
Oh yeah,
some of those
we should
things.
record our lives from now on.
From now on, we do the Truman Show.
Yeah.
What would we call it?
The
Well, we can deal with this later. We're,
Yeah.
we're on a
Yeah,
short
let's
leash here tonight.
brainstorm later.
So Denmark.
Yeah.
2 years in Denmark.
Yeah.
Describe to us the cultural experience of being in Denmark.
Oh, it was extremely different because not just language barrier, but it's actually a great culture. But it's not necessarily easy to get to know people right away. But it's the kind of culture that's when you become friend with those people, it's very deep. It's like sometimes like it takes a while to know someone, but
Right.
and sometimes it's
Yeah.
like instant.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is we're coming to terms with this.
And I think the thing with Denmark, it was a different culture and not the same way of dealing with people. And it was an amazing experience because you have to work on yourself in communication. I mean, one thing I've been mentioning is you can be a great artist, but if you can't communicate well and if you can't work with people,
Right.
then it's really hard just to do anything. And some people work on the portfolio, which is totally fine, but you have to work on your communication skills. And it sounds crazy, but that's if you can't communicate or receive communication, usually you work with art directors, and their roles are mostly communicators through speech or through a painting or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like the art director is not necessarily going to paint beautiful pictures. Sometimes they do, but they will communicate ideas. So if you can't receive the communication or give it, it's going to be a problem.
Right. So you're giving some very, very important pearls of wisdom here when it comes to being a part of the business.
Yeah.
From the business side of things is that, sure, it's great to have a nice portfolio. A portfolio to me at some points is like, well, 3 pieces is enough as long as they're very good. And then at the same time, if you have the personality of a slug or a rock, you may have a problem.
Sure.
So people want to work with people. They're going to be hanging out with you for a long time, many hours a day. And it's probably more important to have a winning personality than even, I might go so far as to say I'd hire someone with a winning personality over someone with a tremendous portfolio and not very outgoing.
I would say, though, like winning personalities is funny because artists are a bit introvert. And sometimes you might not know the person, but you have to keep an open mind, and try to know people. And the most important thing is respect people. Because I was mentioning sometimes you don't quite know what the art director's where it's going, but sometimes they have the vision, and you should trust them. And that's following that vision sometimes is going to bring you somewhere that you would not have thought it was going to bring you, and it makes you evolve. And like sometimes it's a drag. What is he doing that way? But maybe just trust and respect, and you get a lot from that, I think.
But I think that
I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, I'm not always popular, and I mean, I'm human. Sometimes I can be, human.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's to be expected, especially when you're passionate about something.
Yeah,
I
and
think
it can
that's
be
fair
rough
assertion.
with people sometimes,
Sure.
but you should be able to apologize. You should be able to tell the person how you feel. I mean, feelings back in Portugal, and it's something I've been really always doing. Not because it was just the way I am. It's just like I have feelings and I can't let it in.
Right.
And so you
Yeah, we
communicate
were
with the
talking about
person.
that.
Yeah, you communicate with the person. You try to understand, and you apologize. I mean, if you were an asshole and
Gruff
you
or
said
something,
something
yeah.
rough, it's spur of the moment. It's just it happens.
It's difficult because we're trying to put into terms, give meaning to certain things that are visual. So it's very
Yeah.
tough sometimes. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well, you're very frustrated in the first place to try
and,
to come to
and
terms with the visualization.
Yeah, and it's weird because like the ego thing. I mean, you come out of school, and you're no one, and you want to be known. So sometimes you see people, maybe they have a little more, zing. They just go for it, and you're like you mistake that as an ego. It's not necessarily an ego, but you kind of build that kind of ego, and then you realize at some point that what you've been doing is shit. And then you go, my God, it's this thing. And most of the artists I've been meeting, or all the artists I've been meeting that are amazing, are super humble.
Yeah.
And I think they had to go that process and that hard work and understanding, working on themselves, not just the art, but and I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people.
No, I think you're spot on. People forget that there's people behind. This is the whole point of these interviews, is to say there's people behind this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So there's people who are, evolutionary sort of beings who are growing and continuing to evolve across time. And that's why I say, we start from the back and we move forward.
Yeah, it's
Which-
energy, and I mean, it sounds like
Absolutely.
surreal or whatever, but the energy is real, and what you feel for, when you're being nice with someone, usually they're being nice with you.
Absolutely.
So it's communication is both way, and like energy. I mean, it's maybe a bit abstract. I don't want to go too.
No, it's fine. We've gotten into some crazy stuff here in the hot seat many times before, but I think that brings us to a very important topic that I cannot go without talking about with you, is your transition from video games to collectibles and how that continues to evolve. Big fan of that work because you've
thank
worked
you.
with some great products and some great brands.
It's a lot of fun. I'm really
How did this come to
really
pass?
lucky. I mean, I had the right opportunity. Well, the video game is something I started because Ubisoft back then started like over 15 years ago, 17 years ago.
Right.
And I didn't get the job right away. Actually, my portfolio was not necessarily great, but also the one thing that I did is that I had an interview, and the interviewer had a question, or why did you do that? And I kind of laughed, and I was kind of a bit maybe arrogant or ignorant, and basically I never got the job. So it took me more time to actually get the job because of the way I reacted towards the person. I wasn't laughing at the person, but that's also one thing that goes back into the communication. But where was I going?
You were talking about your sort of transition into collectibles.
Oh yeah, collectible. You see, it's crazy.
That's fine. Thank God I'm
The,
here.
the collectible is basically because it was a dream of mine. I mean, since I was, I've been young, well, not just since I'm young. It's in terms of pop culture. It's just like, Bernini, all those classical sculptors. I remember when I was growing up, my best book was an illustrated anatomy book, and also I had, I didn't live in Paris, but I was really close to Paris. So you can go in museums, and I remember like just watching the statues and paintings and being amazed.
Part of your fabric is the French culture.
Yeah, I
Of
mean,
France.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
know
really
this.
I'm really French. I'm not even Canadian, to be honest. It's,
No, that's right.
It's all a
This-
scam.
We don't talk about the sort of immigration process that
yeah.
you've undergone. I mean, this could have been a whole episode talking about your heralding transition across the borders, but we won't talk about it because we don't want you to be in
It's
trouble
also a
with
very
the
interesting
Canadian
human
authorities.
experience because, like, you have to adapt.
Of course.
Adapting. The artist. It's all about adapting, I think.
And I think you've been quite adaptive in your process and your
Oh.
skill set across time and place. But
Thank you very much.
yeah,
We're never there. It's funny, we're never there. It's like Dali said, don't worry about perfection, it doesn't exist, right?
yeah, but then we torture and,
Yeah.
sort of
Self-doubt, all those things.
defile ourselves in
Yeah.
certain ways.
And the more we grow, the more we doubt ourselves, I think.
That's true too, in some
And-
ways, because then you get the ticking clock in the background.
Yeah,
You
and,
say, oh, I only have so much time.
and you
now."
realize, oh yeah,
No, I don't mean now. I mean
Okay.
literally. I mean in life.
yes. Always.
Yeah, you're ticking all the
Always.
time. You know,
Time.
it's time, and
It's
you think, well, I
crazy.
have to do this now, and
Just a speck
it's
in
quite
the
heavy.
universe,
Yeah.
and things go so fast. What?
But it's moving so quickly in a way that is very circular. Not time, but the business of taking. Now, video games are coming to a point where there's talks of stopping a frame in a video game and taking an asset and exporting it as a 3D printable. How do you feel about this transition in the technological capacity in that regard?
Well, I think it's amazing. It's been opening doors to people who didn't have necessarily the background or the chance to do it. I think now, like the I'm talking about chance, a lot of work, but
Right.
the chance to do it is the opportunity to do it. That means that since you have those tools now, and like 3D printing becomes affordable every day.
More and more every day,
More
yeah.
and more. So it's like
Absolutely.
it's crazy. Inventors. I mean, not just like artists, like inventors and engineers as artistic as any of us, even more. To
Well,
many-
earlier we heard some people
Yeah.
talking about that. We had
and
Jason
remember,
Martin.
yeah, Norman
and Scotty.
Sheaf was showing.
Yeah, and Norman was talking about that.
Showing that video about those NASA engineers. It was amazing. The passion, the emotions.
Yeah.
The love for the work, the love for the people they work
The
with.
birthing process from the passion, the fire burning inside, the
Yeah.
conceptualization of the idea, and then the physical representation of it. It was a real mind-altering experience.
Absolutely.
We were
So
there together in the same.
Once
space.
again, full circle and opportunities. Like even in engineering, 3D printers, like ZBrush is being used. We're talking ZBrush, but it's opening doors in any realm. Like scientifics could use it as well.
Oh, more and more.
And you've seen those animals that've been losing parts, like the
Prosthetic
beaks
and things.
things like that. And
Biomedical.
absolutely, so it's amazing. It's new
Prosthetics.
prosthetics and limbs. Yeah, like you were saying.
Yeah. Tests being done on pharmaceuticals and saying, they're 3D printing certain parts of livers and they're testing certain quantities of pharmaceuticals, designer prescriptions specific to you.
Yeah.
How many milligrams does David need? How many milligrams does Louis need? That's some future stuff. So I think we're really hitting some very important things. And how does this...
And 3D printing, like Naval Page was talking about it, like eventually they will actually print silicone parts for
Absolutely.
makeup effects.
Only a matter of time.
And it's amazing. It's like the new materials, all those things. And so like to circle back into what I was saying, because I was lost, like collectible was just something I had the chance to do because of ZBrush.
They came to you.
Well, no, I came to Adam Ross. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and he gave me the chance to actually do my first piece.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
And
So
and
you're
from
paying-
from there, I did a little bit of it, and at some point, I had to stop because I had my first daughter. Now she's 9 years old, but I was getting too tired because I was working full time during the day,
And at night,
evenings,
yeah.
and I tried to keep motivated, but the body, you have to listen to the body, right? Because at some point, if there's no
Kill the body and the head will
yeah,
die.
Exactly. So
Ali Fraser.
so I had to stop for a little while, but then it was always in the back of my mind, and I had the chance to have DC and Sean Knapp, I think you say, and give me the chance to start again and do some PCs. I've done 3 for them. 2 have been revealed. XM Studios also gave me the chance to do like the
You
Quicksilver
did the
piece.
sideshow, the
and-
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Really
No,
nice.
Sideshow was
Yeah,
G.I. Joe.
was the G.I. Joe. I really like that one.
No, thank
That's
you very
really,
much.
Yeah, one of my favorites is Snake Eyes. So really cool.
Thank you. It was my first ever commercial product, and the guys, they've been going to Japan. It's like super exciting. Like they're really living the dream, right? Sorry. And the level is amazing. So I had the chance to work with them and with Joel, with Nicolas, with at the time Baron Thierry, all those guys, amazing guys. We met like at Ubisoft, and like once again, like amazing guys, you get inspired and they push you to go.
It's a real hub up there.
Yeah, and it's a really cool exchange because like they also want you to put some of you into the creations,
What
so
a nice thing.
that's super. Like when that happens and the client or your friends you do project with can trust you enough but guide you in the right direction. Those are really true friends. I mean, because people can tell you, yeah, it's great, whatever. Or they will get, yeah, amazing, but you have to your peer, like people that you can trust.
Right.
And it's not always going to be nice to hear what they have to say, but that's going to be
worth listening
yeah.
to.
Like my girlfriend is my the best or worst critic. I don't know how to call it, but
Your best critic,
she
yeah.
keeps me grounded.
That's
It's
right. Yeah,
like
my wife too.
yeah, that's not that good. It's like, oh really? Okay, fine. And
Thank you. Yeah.
I can really trust her just to tell me the real stuff. So
Okay.
it kind of keeps me grounded, the kids as well, and everything. But anyway, but yeah, it's like going all over the place. But it was an amazing experience, like watching people talking and legends, meeting people that I haven't met before, like younger generation. Well, it's not generation. Like I'm not an old guy.
Younger
Whatever.
artists. Yeah.
Younger artists. I mean, it feels like generation because I was explaining the digital industry is moving so fast.
That's right.
10 years feels like almost like a lifetime.
Ooh, 10 years from now will be a long, long time.
Oh, I
But I
can't
think
wait.
the great benefit was meeting someone like you over the course of the last couple of weeks. We've had a chance to work together. They've given me the spinning finger of death in the background already.
Man, it's too short.
It's too short.
We'll talk again, though.
Yeah, of course. I will stay in touch, of course, as well. I have to say that on behalf of myself, Louis Tucci, David Giraud, the rest of the team behind the camera, I want to thank all the men and women who helped to make this possible. It's been an extraordinary 3 days. It was like I felt like the homecoming queen here. It was nice to be back, sitting in the hot seat with my friends and other professional colleagues. On behalf of myself and everyone here on the grounds of the Noman School of Visual Effects, I want to thank everybody at the Noman School of Visual Effects for all their hard work in the background as well. Pixelogic, the entire Pixelogic family.
Yeah.
And
for
all
real.
of the people who make
Sorry.
ZBrush, no, it's fine. All of the people who make ZBrush what it is around the globe, all the members of the ZBrush Forum. It really is a moving experience to be back. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I couldn't have asked for a better final guest here inside of the hot seat with me, because you know it feels like we've been around the world in 40 days, he and I. So it's sort of a bittersweet symphony at this particular moment, because it means that it's all coming down back to earth, crashing quickly, and tomorrow will be a very interesting morning for me. Again, Louis Tucci, slipping out of the birth canal of cool, taking it back to the main screen stage here at the Noman School of Visual Effects. Take it away, Paul. We're going to wrap it up. David, thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much, man.